Who needs the ACT? Well, nobody. But it may be desirable. It may be the best conduit to a high college admission or a big college scholarship. So, to lay out the differences in brief, ACT is equally accepted by colleges, and ACT has no plans to change its format. That's advantageous for some kids over the next couple of years. The ACT looks to be just the same as it's been offered for 25 years, which makes it a very coachable test and possibly more coachable than the SAT, which is going to undergo a change. We at Ivy Bound are good at coaching, but whenever there's changes, there's fewer materials to practice with. There are fewer tried and true strategies. That means our tutors, reverse engineer wherever we can. But it's easier to reverse engineer something that's been consistent for 25 years. That's the ACT. Now, there's only one type of student who I think may be better off staying with SAT alone. It's a student who's either afraid of or hateful of science, because the ACT does have a science section, the SAT does not. If you're not fearful and not hateful of science, the ACT likely is at least as good, maybe better, and is worth experimenting. You can evaluate yourself on a practice ACT. There's a nice book called The Official ACT Prep Guide. You can make a comparison with an SAT on the Official SAT Study Guide. You can make a score comparison. Ask my office if you don't have a table which correlates ACT scores. They go on a scale of 36 with SAT scores that go on a scale of 800 on two different sections. Please notice that in the criteria I gave for eschewing ACT, just those two categories, hateful of science or fearful of science. Notice I didn't say not very good at science. And I say anyone can take the ACT and score really well on science because it's science reasoning. This is not a test whose science section is based on physics, which you've never taken, or physics which you might have taken but got a C+ in, or biology or chemistry. It's reasoning from scientific experiments that have been given obscurely. These are not in textbooks. Nobody comes in with a big advantage. Reasoning from data and descriptions is something a lot of kids can do, even if they're not especially good yet at science. We coach to it. Please consider ACT along with this SAT and know that you are not stuck. Finally, the student who is good at math.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Finally, the student who's not very good at math, but is pretty good at science, absolutely should be taking the ACT. I'm not saying exclusively, but you don't want to jettison the ACT because your weak area, if you're not good at math, is 50% of the SAT, but it's only a quarter of the ACT. So your weak area gets somewhat submerged. If it proves not to be good, it's got 3 other sections on the ACT